Picture this: a man lying in a hospital bed, his body having just come off the operating table. On the other side of the world, millions of eyes are fixed on their phone screens with broken hearts, waiting for one piece of news. Is he okay? And that night, from behind that screen, he was the first one to speak. Not to complain, not to ask for sympathy, but to apologize for making you worried. This is Jimin. This is Park Jimin of BTS. And this is the story of how deep his love for ARMY runs, even when his own body was at its weakest. Stay right here, because this story will fill your heart to the brim with emotion, admiration, and love. Before we get into the heart of the story, let's get to know this extraordinary person. Park Jimin. Born October 13, 1995, in Busan, South Korea. He is the lead vocalist and main dancer of BTS, the K-pop group that has reshaped the face of music worldwide. From the very beginning, Jimin was not a child born with fame in his hands. He studied at Busan Arts High School, pushing himself hard in modern dance and contemporary ballet. He was known as a diligent student, always a class leader, driven by an ambition to keep growing and improving. When he joined Big Hit Entertainment and debuted with BTS in 2013, the world didn't yet know who Park Jimin was. But it didn't take long before they did. His dance moves flow like water, graceful, effortless, mesmerizing. His expressive tenor voice pulls listeners deep into an emotion they didn't know they needed to feel. And most of all, his smile. Jimin's smile is the most dangerous weapon in all of K-pop, because once you've seen it, your heart will never quite be the same. Together with BTS, Jimin reached heights that no one could have imagined. Grammy nominations, Billboard milestones, sold-out concerts in massive stadiums around the globe, and record after record shattered. But behind all of it stands a human being. One who has been sick, who has been exhausted beyond measure, and who has felt the full weight of living under the gaze of millions. And this is that story. January 31st, 2022. An official announcement appeared from Bigot Music on the Weverse platform. The very first sentence was enough to make millions of fans around the world stop breathing for a moment. The statement revealed that on January 30th, Jimin had suddenly experienced severe abdominal pain. The kind of pain that came without warning, sharp and overwhelming. And the agency immediately rushed him to the emergency room of the nearest hospital for a full examination. But that wasn't even the full picture. In the emergency room, doctors ran a series of tests, including a PCR test. The results came back, and they stunned everyone. Jimin had been diagnosed with acute appendicitis, a medical condition requiring surgery as soon as possible. And at the same time, his PCR test came back positive for COVID-19. Two serious conditions, simultaneously, in one body. The following morning, January 31st, 2022, Jimin underwent appendix surgery. The operation was carried out while his body was also fighting the coronavirus. Think about how heavy that must have been. When the news broke, the reaction from ARMY across the world was overwhelming. The hashtag #GetWellSoonJimin immediately shot to #1 on Twitter's global trending topics, including in Indonesia. Thousands, then millions, of prayers and messages flooded social media within minutes. Some people cried. Some rushed to post long messages on Weverse. Some lit candles and prayed quietly in their rooms. Because for ARMY, Jimin is not just an idol. He is family. You know what made all of ARMY cry again, but this time out of pure emotion? Just a few days after the operation, while most people would still be lying still and needing complete rest, Jimin opened Weverse. He typed a message to his fans, with hands that must have still felt heavy, with a body that was deep in recovery, in a condition that was far from perfect, but he still showed up. For ARMY, the words he wrote were simple, yet they sank deep into the hearts of everyone who read them. Everyone, it seems like you're worried. I'm recovering well. And then, the sentence that made thousands of people cry reading their phone screens that night. I'm sorry for making you all so worried, but I think I'll be able to leave the hospital soon. Please wait just a little, I'll recover quickly. He apologized. Not the medical team, not the management. Jimin himself, fresh off the operating table, felt the need to say sorry to his fans for making them worry. Stop and think about that for a second. In the most vulnerable moment of his life, Jimin's first thought was not about himself. It was about ARMY, about the feelings of the millions of people who love him. He also made sure to let his fans know that he was eating well, 3 meals a day, and being careful throughout his recovery. As if to say, "Don't worry. I'm okay. I'm taking care of myself for you." And the good news? The surgery went perfectly. Big Hit Music confirmed that Jimin's surgical wound healed quickly without any complications. Not long after, Jimin was discharged from the hospital, recovered from COVID-19, and returned to his world, the world that had always been waiting for him. But that hospital moment was far from the only time Jimin showed how immense his dedication truly is. The journey of Park Jimin is filled with struggles that often go unnoticed by the public eye. Throughout his years with BTS, Jimin has been known as one of the hardest working members. Behind the dance moves that look so fluid and effortless on stage, there are countless hours of relentless practice. There is sweat poured out in rehearsal rooms long after everyone else has gone home. There is a body pushed beyond its limits again and again, all for the sake of delivering the best possible performance for ARMY. Jimin has spoken openly about feeling like he wasn't good enough, about constantly holding himself to standards he set, standards that were incredibly, almost impossibly high. And this is where ARMY always stepped in, becoming the anchor that reminded him he was more than enough. Then came the hardest chapter yet, mandatory military service. In June 2024, Jimin officially enlisted for his mandatory service alongside Jungkook. For nearly 18 months, they couldn't perform, couldn't greet ARMY in real time, couldn't be present in the daily lives of fans the way they always had been. Try to imagine what that felt like for someone like Jimin, a man whose entire life had been shaped around stages, music, and connection with ARMY, suddenly confined to military barracks, separated from everything he loved. But once again, Jimin proved exactly who he is. When Jimin and Jungkook finally completed their mandatory service in 2025 and returned to the entertainment world, the reaction from ARMY was nothing short of extraordinary. Tears of joy, screams of happiness, and Jimin's smile, unchanged, warm, genuine, and full of love. And now, the world is waiting for something extraordinary. July 2025 became a historic turning point. BTS finally reunited in full. All 7 members gathered again after everyone completed their military service. A moment ARMY across the entire world had been holding their breath for years. And it didn't stop there. Big Hit Music announced that BTS would release a new album in the spring of 2026, along with a world tour set to reach fans across multiple continents. Jimin dove fully into the preparation process immediately. On October 13th, 2025, his 30th birthday, Jimin held a Weverse Live to celebrate that special milestone alongside ARMY. During the broadcast, he spoke with genuine enthusiasm about the progress of BTS's comeback. With a voice full of energy, Jimin told his fans, "Our work is going smoothly. All the members are working hard. Like I said before, we're very nervous, but also excited, wondering how you'll react to it." Nervous, but excited. Those two feelings have always been present in everything BTS creates, and they have always led to something extraordinary. Jimin also attended Paris Fashion Week in September 2025, representing Dior as its global ambassador. From his hotel room in Paris, right before his return to Korea, he held a surprise live broadcast for his fans. There, in words that touched the heart, Jimin said, "I'm working hard on this album, and I'll do my best not to delay it any longer. It's time for BTS to come back. It's time for BTS to come back." That sentence alone was enough to make millions of ARMY cry with joy. In Spotify Wrapped 2025, Jimin was recognized as one of the most streamed artists in South Korea, proving that his love for music and music's love for him has never dimmed, even slightly. There is something deeply unique about the relationship between Jimin and ARMY. In the world of K-pop, the bond between an idol and their fans is often described as something special. But what exists between Jimin and ARMY that is different? For Jimin, ARMY is not just a fan base. They are the reason he gets up every morning. They are the purpose behind every dance move, every note he sings, every sleepless night spent in the recording studio. In a deeply moving moment, Jimin once opened up about the dark periods in his life. Times when he doubted himself, when the weight of everything felt too heavy to carry. But each time that happened, he would look out and see the faces of ARMY in the audience. He would read messages from fans on Weverse. And somehow, the strength would come back. ARMY saved Jimin. and Jimin gave his entire life in return. That is why, when he was sick, lying in a hospital bed, facing two serious diagnoses at once, the thing weighing heaviest on his mind was how worried Army must be feeling. That is why the first words he wrote after surgery were an apology and a promise to recover quickly. Because for Jimin, letting Army down is the one thing he simply cannot imagine. And that, if we're being honest, is one of the most genuine forms of love that has ever existed. From everything we've talked about today, one question might be forming in your mind. What can we actually learn from Jimin? This isn't just about K-pop. This isn't just about fandoms and idols. This is about something far more universal. First, dedication. Jimin teaches us that when you love something with your whole heart, no obstacle feels too large to overcome. Sick, exhausted, afraid, all of those things are real. But true love always finds a way to show up. Second, humility. At a moment when most people would use their illness as a reason to step back and disappear, Jimin chose to stay present and apologize for making others worry. That kind of humility is incredibly rare, even outside the world of entertainment. Third, the power of love. Army is not just the audience in Jimin's journey. They are the fuel that drives everything forward. And Jimin shows us that when you have people who genuinely care about you, you can get through things you never imagined you could survive. And fourth, the power of rising back up. Jimin has been sick. Jimin has gone through surgery. Jimin has endured nearly 18 months of mandatory military service, separated from the world he loved. But at every single one of those points, he always got back up, always came back, always returned stronger than before. This is not just a story about an idol. This is a story about a truly extraordinary human being. So, to you, Army, you who have been loyal from the very beginning, who cried that night when you heard Jimin had been rushed to the hospital, who sent sincere prayers from every corner of the world. Thank you. Thank you, because your love is the reason Jimin keeps standing, keeps singing, keeps dancing, keeps showing up. And to Jimin himself, if there is one message we want to send on behalf of every Army in the world, we see every single one of your struggles. We know how heavy the road has been, and we will always, always be right here, waiting for every step you take back onto that stage. Because you are not just an idol to us, you are a part of our lives. Purple Heart.